The last few Januaries and Februaries in Ann Arbor, Michigan have been full of questions regarding Jim Harbaugh. Will he or won't he make his way back to the National Football League? Michigan has a ton of experienced returning talent coming to this team in 2023 that probably won't be in Ann Arbor, Michigan in 2024. Does that mean the 2023 season could be the last dance for Jim Harbaugh at his alma mater? Before we get into that, just a reminder to hit subscribe if you haven't already. Big Ten content all offseason long. Always crush that like button to spread the word of Big Ten Ted to the masses. When you talk about that returning talent, that experienced talent that's coming in 2023, that might not be around in 2024. Here's the guys that you're looking at. You're looking, of course, at the heart and soul of that Michigan offense. You're looking at that backfield. You're looking at that running game, what the numbers, the yards, the production that Blake Corum has put up the last two seasons probably warrant him maybe being in the NFL draft here in 2023. But, of course, the injury might have set him back a little bit, his draft stock back a little bit. So he wanted to prove that he could go a full season as a workhorse, as a number one back, and then when he could be a 1A, and how about your 1B? Not too shabby either. Donovan Edwards, right? He played very well, both alongside and without Blake Corum after Blake Corum was injured in the backfield for Michigan. He has proven that he can be an NFL back as we head towards that 2024 NFL draft. So those two guys, big-time talents in the backfield, could both be gone. And although that Michigan running back room is deep, I don't know if you're getting quite to the talent of a Corum and an Edwards. Those guys are good, but it might take them some time to possibly get to that level. You talk about the receiving game, Cornelius Johnson and Roman Wilson, they've logged a lot of catches. They've logged a lot of yards in this passing game, both from Cade McNamara and J.J. McCarthy. Both of those guys are seniors and will not be back next season. You look at a guy like Mike Sanders still, the former wide receiver that has made key plays in key situations in that defensive backfield. You look at a guy like J.J. McCarthy at quarterback, of course, that could possibly declare early if he has a good enough season as quarterback at Michigan. You look at Jalen Harrell on defense. You look at Zach Zinter and a few of those other offensive linemen there that have been on back-to-back Joe Moore Award-winning offensive lines. You look at that talent, that is a big-time group of talent at Michigan that a majority of those guys, if not all those guys, may not be back in 2024. Now, you're kind of looking at this thing from the outside. You're looking at this thing from 10,000 feet, so to speak. Well, you know, Jim Harbaugh has fielded interviews. He's fielded offers from the NFL the last few seasons. You got guys like a Corum and an Edwards, and you got all these guys, seniors and high-level juniors that could declare for the NFL draft. And you can see why maybe 2023 could be a last dance, run it back. Let's see if we can go and win a national championship with this group. But when we talk about this group, this is the group that has laid the foundation, that has laid the future for Michigan football. Because that's what I want to talk about now. This is just the tip of the iceberg, ladies and gentlemen. Michigan has the number 5 recruiting class right now in the country for 2024. 11 4-star commits on this team, more than any other team in the country, and it's not really that close. So although you have a ton of talent, although there may be a perceived drop-off next season, this is still a deep team. And I'm maybe not even talking about the guys that are coming in 2024. Even right now, there are players that they've recruited the last couple of years that have developed, that are in positions to kind of take over and keep the level of play high at the University of Michigan. I also want to say this. Jim Harbaugh will turn 60 years old this December 23rd. So this bridge between 2023 and 2024 is a key one. Because if Jim Harbaugh is going to make a run as an NFL head coach, a 5, a 6, 7, 8 year run, whatever it may be, you got to think the decision is going to happen very soon. I view this bridge, I look at Jim Harbaugh walking over this bridge from the 2023 to the 2024 season, and at the end of the bridge, there's two paths. One path, you keep walking in Ann Arbor, Michigan. You keep walking wearing the maize and blue, okay? And you stay the head coach of the University of Michigan, and you become an absolute legend with the likes of the Lloyd Carrs and the Bo Schemblechers and guys like that. And then you veer off in another direction, which is the NFL. It says, hey, I brought Michigan back to national relevancy. I won maybe 3 consecutive Big Ten championships. This is what I did, and I'm leaving my alma mater in good hands. And now it's time for me to embark on my final chapter of my coaching career. Those are the two paths that I believe they're going to take. Because of the talent drop-off, possibly, and I'll maybe get to why maybe there's not that much of a talent drop-off here in just a little bit, but because of that perceived drop-off, that might be the right time to really transition to an NFL career in 2024. It all seems like maybe from the outside that this could be a last stand situation. Like Blake Corum coming back for one more year kind of seems like it, and all of this talent coming back for one more season. But you have guys like a Jaden Davis, one of the very best quarterbacks in the country in 2024, and he's actively recruiting players to come to Michigan. Jordan Marshall is in that class as well. They've got some really good tight ends they've recruited in the class of 2024 as well. If you want to continue this at Michigan, it's not going to be that difficult because there is a ton of talent coming in. I think the decision that Jim Harbaugh makes going from 2023 to 2024 will be determined by the success on the football field. Like, if they win a third straight Big Ten championship, if they win a college football playoff semifinal and make it to the national championship, will that relieve Jim Harbaugh of the pressure and say, you know what, I've maybe reached my ceiling. I've done what I set out to do here at Michigan. Does Jim Harbaugh at that point, whether they win the national championship game or not, does he view this as maybe I've done what I've set out to do. I came back to my alma mater and I've returned them back to one of the elite programs in all of college football. And then maybe I'm going to finish my career in the National Football League. Is he relieved getting to that point? If he doesn't get to that point, does that motivate him to keep on coming back year after year after year after year? Those are going to be the questions that Jim Harbaugh is going to have to answer. If I'm Jim Harbaugh's agent, if I'm a guy right now that is sitting here and helping Jim Harbaugh kind of make a decision one way or another, and I might be biased as Big Ten Ted, I might be biased as a college football guy, but there is a lot of money flowing around in college football. There is a lot of money in this new Big Ten television contract. You can make a ton of money. You can maybe make more money in college than you can in the National Football League if you stay at Michigan. He's proven in the National Football League that he's a good coach. This is not a Nick Saban thing where he flopped in the NFL and there still might be that floating out there. He's proved that he can go to a Super Bowl. He's proved that he can win games in the NFL. But his legacy could end up with a statue outside of Michigan Stadium if he retires as head coach of the Maize and Blue. Keeps on winning Big Ten titles, keeps on winning national championships. Maybe that's the decisions that Jim Harbaugh has to make. I want to hear what you guys think. Do you think Jim Harbaugh, do you think that this 2023 season is going to be the last dance considering all the talent that could depart prior to 2024? Or do you think this is just the beginning for Jim Harbaugh and things are going to get a whole lot worse for the rest of the Big Ten as Jimmy H stays with the Maize and Blue for years to come? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'm Big Ten Ted. We will see you in the next one.